Holiday travel getting pricey this year, according to USA Today. An average price for a domestic ticket on an airplane is going to cost you as much as $170 more during peak days of Thanksgiving week, for instance. The good news is there are alternatives, and CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is here to help us find some of the deals and discounts. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So why are airline fees higher this year?
Because they can. You've got fewer planes, fewer flights, fewer seats, and that's intersecting with increased demand. More people are flying, law of supply and demand kicks in. But it's actually worse than that number you just gave, Harry, because the airfares, the average airfare now is up 10% over last year for Thanksgiving. That's about $384. But it gets worse than that because the airlines have 26 days between now and the end of the year that they're charging for surcharges for peak travel days, another $30 per flight. So ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yeah, I mean, so you really got to be making your plans right now.
Right.
Are there sales?
There are. Believe it or not, at this moment, till Monday, a number of the airlines are having sales. You've got to book by the 27th of September. American's doing it. Southwest is doing it. Virgin is doing it. A number of other airlines will match those fares. But remember, there are blackout dates there, too, and we can talk about that as well.
Okay.
The fares are good, but they're not on every flight, and they're not every seat.
All right. You have ideas about how people can really, make sure their pocketbook doesn't get absolutely busted in this process. Talk to us about it.
It's called Take the Bus. No, actually, not a bad idea, by the way, on short-haul flights.
And they're much nicer, by the way. Buses have improved a lot.
Here's what you want to do. You got to think of alternate airports. You want to think of Oakland instead of San Francisco. You want to think of Providence instead of Boston. Islip, my favorite secret airport here in New York, instead of JFK. You'll find some better deals there. And also, take flights. I know this is problematic. It becomes planes, trains, and automobiles. But look for flights that have stops, because those will ultimately be cheaper than the non-stops.
Yeah, always a stop makes a big deal. Now, what are dead weeks?
My favorite 2 weeks of the year. Let's call Thanksgiving what it really is. It's an obligatory dysfunctional family get-together, okay? It really is. So why would you? It is. So why would you do that to yourself? Not alone spend that Wednesday traveling.
No wonder it's my favorite holiday.
So what you want to do is either fly on Thanksgiving morning or on Christmas morning. Those are the only 2 days, by the way, the airlines aren't charging those surcharges.
On the actual holiday day.
Exactly. Get the earliest flight out. You still get to where you need to go to carve the turkey and see your demented uncle and your crazy aunt. They can push all the emotional buttons, come back on Friday when nobody's traveling.
You know, what's very interesting, though, also, is those days, when I was in my 20s, I always flew on those days. And there was no one on the airplane. There are people on the airplanes now. People are happy.
Then there are the 2 dead weeks. Then the dead weeks, very quickly. It's the week immediately following that dysfunctional family get-together, after Thanksgiving week, and nobody is flying. You own the plane, go bowling on the plane. Or the week immediately after New Year's when everybody's recovering from that dysfunctional holiday.
So that first full week then after, in January, for
exactly,
instance.
and that's where you really get the savings.
All right. How are trains doing, speaking of trains, planes, and automobiles?
No blackout dates, and there's some really good fares, and there are no blackout dates, as you just said. So you can go New York to Washington for $148. You can do LA to San Francisco, Kansas City to Chicago. There are good alternatives, especially at that time of the year. And if you don't want to schlep everything, you ship it ahead like I do, especially with the presents.
And the dead weeks of this, it's like hitting the pot of gold. It's hitting the jackpot.
Anywhere you want to go.
All right, very good. Peter Greenberg, do appreciate it.
You got it.